Welcome to the Way Out Recovery Hour. I'm Bob Sharits in studio today with my very special guest, our clinical director, Brenda Way. Hi, Brenda.
Hi, Bob.
We are going to have a rocking show today. I'm really excited about it. I'd like to welcome everyone and thank KHTS, who, if you haven't heard, I know it's been a while, this may be old news now. They are also on FM 98.1 now, as well as AM 1220. And I want to thank them for being so gracious and having us on air once a month. So, again, welcome to the show. This is the Way Out Recovery Hour. I want to tell you a little bit about what we do over at the Way Out. We are what's called an intensive outpatient program. So in terms of various levels of care, we sit right in between a residential, which is a live-in facility, and outpatient, which is maybe a weekly therapy session. So we sit right in the middle of that for those folks who want to maintain their lives in terms of maybe going to school, keeping a full-time job, maybe they have families, and so they're not able to put their lives on hold and go into a residential program. And so we offer primarily evening groups so that people can have their lives and still work on their substance use disorder problems while maintaining that life. Another benefit of intensive outpatient versus a residential is that people can work on their current stressors while they're facing those stressors. Residential programs are primarily designed to be stabilization. If a person just cannot maintain sobriety or has withdrawal symptoms that put them in danger or something like that, or they're living in a dangerous situation and they need to be taken out of their environment to either stabilize the physical symptoms or get them in a safe space or be able to work on the significant stressors while not being able to reach to a drug. But there are those who can greatly benefit from an outpatient program like ours, who can come to our groups 3 times a week and individual sessions and talk to us about what's going on in their personal relationships, their jobs, and other stressors like legal stressors or health issues or whatever else is going on in their lives, and come and process that with us and with the other participants in the group, get some tools, learn some coping skills, and be able to manage those stressors without running to a drug. So we are that level of care, the intensive outpatient level of care. Our population includes, our various populations include adults and adolescents. Obviously, we treat them separately, and we also include family counseling and therapy in the middle of both of those populations. We believe really strongly in involving the family in what we do, and we think it's a vital component. Although it is not, if somebody doesn't have the ability of having their family present, it doesn't stop them from getting the treatment, of course. And so we're a local treatment center. We're based out of Saugus in Santa Clarita. We are on the corner of Bouquet and Plum Canyon, over there in the same shopping center as the Vincenzo's and the La Casina and the 7-Eleven, Cloud9 Vape, in that same shopping center on the same side as 7-Eleven down at the end. I tell you that in case you're in the area and you want to drop on by and pay us a visit. Either Brenda or myself or Melissa will generally be in the office and swing on by and say hi to us. Please visit our website. We have an outstanding website. That is at www.thewayoutrrecoveryscv.com. Head on over there and check it out. You can also schedule a personalized assessment on our website as well, or you can send us an email through that website to ask us any questions or inquire about any of our stuff, like our pricing, what insurance we take, things like that. So go to our website, or you can give us a call, of course, at 296-4444. Easy to remember, 296-4444. And talk with myself, Melissa, Brenda, or anybody else that's over there, and we can help you get through what's going on. It's really important that you ask for help. Asking for help is absolutely the first step. We say that over and over again because I think for a lot of people that is the most difficult thing to do. If you're sitting there and you're just looking for answers and you don't know what the heck to do, and substances have got a hold of your life and they're really causing some damage, ask somebody for help. We would love if you gave us a call, but if not us, somebody else. Just ask somebody for help. Get started in the recovery process. And you'll find what I have found is that the world of recovery from addiction is not this, boring, overwhelming, oh my God, I can't ever drink again thing. It is this beautiful life that has opened up and enhanced my spirituality and enhanced my relationships and enhanced my standing in the community, my employment, just everything is better in the recovery process. And so take that first step by asking for help and jump into that recovery process with us, and we will show you what that life looks like. I want to talk about, hi, Brenda.
Hi, Bob. Again.
Was that a good intro?
It was a great intro.
So I want to talk about something that's happened, and this is you're going to know these people, although obviously I'm not going to say their names. It seems like this last week I have gotten a lot of emails and a lot of calls and a lot of people popping in who have received treatment with us over the last year that we've been open. And what has come to mind is that, oh my God, we are doing such a great job over there.
It's amazing what's happening.
And so I really kind of wanted to talk about, not to just brag, but I know that it's the truth, is we are absolutely the best outpatient program that's in Santa Clarita.
I'd have to say that we are the best outpatient program that's in Santa Clarita.
And I say that confidently because of the overwhelming phone calls and visits and emails that I have been getting, especially lately, from clients and their families that have gone through our program. We have a really special mixture of the treatment that we provide and, of course, the staffing that's over there. And so I want to talk a little bit about that. Cool?
Yeah, that sounds good.
What is our secret formula to this success? Overall in addiction treatment, there is historically a very low success rate, although I use the term successful loosely. I think the numbers that I've seen is roughly 20%.
Yeah, I think that's what I've seen. Yeah,
I've seen it lower than that. I have worked in places where at times it has been better than 50%. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. So I want to take all those percentages and kind of throw them to the side because it's really difficult to measure success.
Almost impossible. Depends on whose rubric you're using.
Yeah. Some might measure success by 100% abstinence at a certain length of time, like 1 year abstinence or something like that, which cool. You can do studies on that.
Yeah.
But I'd like to say that, like, when I step back and I look at overall quality of life improvement, mm-hmm. There is not a person that's gone through our program or come and visited us, even the people who don't sign up with us, they come and visit us. We're able to point them in the right direction, and they get hooked up with these other programs, and then they get to experience an improvement in their quality of life. And so when I step back and I look at overall improvement in quality of life, every single person who has reached out and asked for help has gained some improvement in quality of life, and that is successful.
Yeah, it's successful. We talked when we first opened this facility, we talked about how we wanted this to be different. We wanted to treat the person, not the disease. And even the people that we aren't treating on hand, we are helping them further their goal towards sobriety, and it's successful.
So I want to talk about a couple of people. Obviously, we're not going to use any names, but I got the opportunity in April, which was right. So officially, we opened June 1st, but the reason we opened officially June 1st is because we received our Department of Healthcare Services certification on June 1st of last year. And so that was our official opening date. We didn't do our grand opening until I think a couple of months later, which was really a cool deal. Like everybody showed up for that thing, and it was really a neat event that we had for that. And but prior to us receiving that Department of Healthcare Services, we had the facility, and we opened the doors to the facility on April 1st and started meeting with people based on our own individual license, your license, and my certification, and Melissa's registration. You know, we're all certified or licensed professionals in the community, and so we're able to treat people, you know, whether or not we have that certification from Department of Healthcare Services. So, in the interim of waiting for that, people knew that we were going to open a new facility, and I had families reaching out to me going, the minute you open your door, we need help. And so we're talking to these people and getting them in. So day one, we had this wonderful young lady that showed up, and it was cool because she and I were we were doing really individual sessions 3 or 4 times a week, right? And she's showing up, and we're just helping guide her through her life, whatever those stressors are. She got family stuff going on. She's got mental health stuff going on. She's got school stuff going on, personal relationship stuff going on. And so she just was like, help me, right? And we get in there and we start to help her. Hold on one second. So we get in there and we start to help her, and we just watch her come alive. Right? We just watch her come alive. Other people start showing up to the program. Pretty soon we get a group. She's just on fire inside of the group. She stays for a while and does really well. Comes back to mentor because she's, you know, at the time she's 18 years old. She comes back to mentor some of our younger people, and it just took off to be this wonderful thing for her, and just watch her life flourish, right? So in April, I get a call, and she says, hey, can you guys come on over and give me my 1-year cake at a 12-step meeting? And it was like the tears start flowing, you know?
It's an amazing gift.
Yeah. And so we're watching this kind of stuff happen. You know, we have another individual right now who's just become a mentor to our other young adults and to our adolescents over there. And he's 21 years old, and he's about to take a 1-year cake as well in July, I think July 12th. Yeah. And he's excited about it. And when he came to us, you know, he was coming out of a behavioral health unit and in this position where, you know, his drug and alcohol use had caused so much damage that he's considering killing himself. You know, he's got legal troubles and all kinds of stuff going on. And you know who I'm talking about.
I do.
Beautiful individual.
Absolutely.
Beautiful family.
Yeah.
And we're watching this guy thrive, you know, and we're watching his family thrive around him. And so much so that, you know, that his family came back. You know, he had been in our program for a while, and then he's mentoring and everything else. And his family comes back and is so excited about the work that we're doing in the community that they come back and they go, you know, we know that everybody can't afford to get treatment. Either they don't have the right insurance or whatever's going on. And don't get me wrong, we help anybody who walks through the door, but we can't always sign them up for our program. But we do have a few spots, right? So the family comes back and goes, we're so excited about what you've done in our lives and what you're doing in our community that we want to go ahead and scholarship a couple of people to go through your program. And I'm like, you know, of course, I know I don't appear to be a big softie, but I start crying.
You're a big softie. Yes, you are.
So the tears start flowing, and I'm just like, oh my God, it's, we're doing such wonderful things.
It's
Such
really
wonderful
beautiful.
things.
The changes that are happening in people's lives, in their families' lives, and in the community. It's beautiful what's happening.
So the next one I want to talk about very quickly is going to also be, it's sort of a testament to different points of view on what success looks like. We have an individual right now who has been part of our program that has continued to struggle and struggle and struggle. He's been in and out of a couple of different treatment centers. Currently, he's an adolescent. He currently sits in juvenile hall and is, facing whatever he's facing for some of the behavior that he's participating in around his drug use. And when you look at that right there, you might stand back and go, oh my God, the treatment has failed. But let me tell you something that sets us apart that we have been doing. We have continued to work with his family members, whether or not he's in our program, and we've worked with them consistently for about a year as he's going through this process. And we have watched this grandfather and grandmother who are raising this kid come alive, set healthy boundaries, take care of themselves, be able to sleep at night, and really detach from the being caught up in those behaviors, And I got a call from them this morning, and they said, hey, Bob, we just need a little pep talk and a little bit of support right now. And that's one of the things that we do is we offer that to people that are coming through our program, even when they finish. Like, you're not done.
There's no done.
Right. We're setting up lifetime relationships, which is really, really incredible. And so I get these, and I'm just feeling overwhelmed with all the gratitude of the work that we're doing. I think that the key to our success is the variation of different treatments that we offer and modalities that we offer and sort of out of the box thinking on the stuff that we're able to offer over there. So I want to go over a couple, which is we'll get started on what we offer, and then we're going to take a break and come back, and we'll go through them very, very quickly. But we provide these really thorough assessments where we'll sit down sometimes with a client for a couple of hours and find out what's going on with them so that we can create a treatment plan around their individual needs. And then you and myself and Melissa will meet and do our treatment team meetings and discuss each individual client. Why is that so important for us to do that?
I think the biggest aspect of those treatment team meetings is, I know for myself, I can get a narrow perspective without realizing it. And to be able to discuss what's going on with our clients in a team, we get that outside perspective for someone else to say, okay, but did you consider this element of it? Which we don't always have all of the answers ourselves. So we work together to be able to help them to the best of their ability.
I love that when we get in there and we brainstorm, it's because we do offer different perspectives. Each one of us has a different background that we bring into our treatment that we offer our clients. And so we all come from a little bit of a unique perspective, which is neat because I love when we get in there and we're able to, you take one issue that this person has and we have at least three of us looking at it from, have you considered this? Have you considered this? Have you considered this? Based on that, we are providing these super unique, individualized treatment plans, which the importance of that, Brenda.
Well, and we get our clients involved. We're not telling them this is what you have to do. We're asking them, how can we help you? And so they're able to tell us. And when we are working amongst ourselves to be able to point out some of the holes we may have missed, it gives them a better opportunity for success as they want their success to look like.
Yeah, it's neat when you empower somebody to take control of their own recovery and help guide them along the way rather than what archaic
what the standard
what archaic treatment
right.
sometimes still looks like is, sort of the old model was like sit down and shut up and you're going to do this or not be here or something. And it's quite the opposite with us. We'll end with this because I heard this in talking about the new treatment modalities and what we are doing, I heard a gentleman at a conference, a guy by the name of Dr. Mee Lee, who's one of the authors on the DSM-5 and part of the American Society of Addiction Medicine. And he said, here's what it looks like now, is when the client or the family walks through our door, we say this to them: thank you for choosing us to help guide you in your recovery. How can we best serve you? And I love that. When I heard him say that, I'm like, oh, that's what we do. We're servants. You know, we are of service to the people that walk through our door, and we always want to be that. And if we continue doing that, we'll continue getting these calls, you know. So when we come back after this break, I want to talk about a couple of different things that we employ that I don't know that anybody else is doing. They're kind of out of the box thinking, you know. So we'll talk about what we're doing with our clients to help them sort of have fun in recovery and better their lives physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. I'm Bob Sharits. This is Brenda Way, MFT, and we are with the Way Out Recovery Hour, and we'll be right back after this.
The best live theater can be found right here in the Santa Clarita Valley. The Canyon Theater Guild has been entertaining audiences for decades with top-quality musicals and plays. Located on Main Street in Old Town Newhall, CTG also offers workshops for the young actor in your family. For more information, call the box office at 799-2702 or go online to canyontheater.org.
What's the perfect way to end the weekend? Sunday brunch at Salt Creek Grill, of course. Wind down with delectable dishes off Salt Creek's award-winning menu and enjoy a glass of champagne, because after all, you deserve it. Make Sunday brunch at Salt Creek Grill a new tradition with your family and friends. Salt Creek Grill in Valencia on Town Center Drive in front of the movie theater. For reservations, 222-9999 or go online to saltcreekgrill.com.
The Santa Clarita Artists Association has a new gallery in downtown Newhall on 6th Street between Main and Railroad, right across from the Canyon Theater Guild. The gallery features our members' paintings, sculptures, and one-of-a-kind handcrafted gift items. Whether you're an art lover, buyer, or an artist wishing to join, visit our website at santaclaritaartist.org, come to our free monthly meetings at Barnes & Noble, or stop by the gallery. For upcoming events and exhibits, check us out at santaclaritaartist.org. We make visual art visible.
At Advanced Audiology, we know how important hearing is to you, your loved ones, your work success, your safety, and your ability to stay in the game. Most people won't admit hearing loss to themselves or others. We make it easy for you. Today's digital hearing aids come in a variety of styles, including invisible. All feature-rich, providing unparalleled hearing quality, wearing comfort, and automation that simplifies your life. Don't be fooled by our imitators. There's only one Advanced Audiology with the purple sign next to AAA on Valencia Boulevard.
The USC sexual abuse scandal is heart-wrenching, as more evidence is revealed showing school officials ignored legitimate complaints from dozens and dozens of female students dating back 3 decades. Many are still traumatized. The Santa Clarita law firm of Owen Patterson Owen is helping USC victims get financial assistance for their suffering and see that justice is served. If you know someone impacted by the USC gynecologist's abuse, visit opolaw.com. opolaw.com.
KHTS. Now FM, 98.1 FM and AM 1220, your hometown station.
Welcome back to the Way Out Recovery Hour. I am Bob Sharits, and I'm in studio with our clinical director, Brenda Way, MFT. Hi, Brenda.
Hi, still here.
I know. So we were talking about why we're so awesome.
We're pretty awesome.
Before we took a break, the awesomeness is highlighted by the fact that we get calls from our clients that have gone through, just telling us like how wonderful their lives are, and if the quality of life improvement and overall success of our clients is the measuring stick for the treatment that we're providing, then we're doing good. We're doing really good work over there, and that is always what our primary focus is going to be. Is if we are not serving our clients in a manner that is going to allow them to have the best possible success, whatever that means, then we need to change up. Some of the out of the box thinking, I kind of want to just roll through this because we have another sort of segue we want to go to. I talked about our assessment and personalized treatment planning, but some of the other things that we do that I don't think anybody else is doing is we take our groups sometimes and go outside with them. We go hiking and running and
take them to the lake.
Take them to the lake and do fun stuff that is over at that takes the recovery and allows it to be not just stuck in a room talking to each other all the time over and over and over and over again, because that can get boring. It can get, and we know how much being outside does for a person.
Absolutely. It creates so many neurotransmitters that we are depleted of when we come in suffering from addiction. The sunshine and the wind and the activity, it boosts the brain.
Well, and it's really good, that mindfulness practice where we can sit down and go, how are we feeling right now? And go, God, that wind feels good. And be able to tap into the things that, with drug and alcohol use, it's sort of like the more that a person gets into it, the more blinders are put on, and they just kind of roll through life and don't even feel the sun or pay attention to the wind anymore. Mm-hmm. And so we want to get them out there feeling that stuff. And moving around. A lot of times we employ exercise in that, and what's that do for a person in recovery?
Exercise is one of those things that I'm regularly telling clients. You need to be moving your body. You need to get your blood flowing. It needs to. It's part of that brain boost.
Well, and it's I read somewhere not too long ago that the most effective treatment for any mental health issues, number one, is some sort of activity.
Sure.
Some sort of exercise, some sort of activity, which can be really difficult if you're sitting in the middle of a depression and you can't even get out of your bed, right?
Exactly.
Or if you're so isolated because of the shame of your drug and alcohol use that it's hard to do. And so, we always believe in, just get to our door. We will hold your hand and walk you around the block.
And what you're talking about falls into the idea of CBT, which is a lot of what we use, cognitive behavioral therapy. If we can get someone thinking about how they're acting, it's easier for them to act in a way that helps them to change their thinking.
Yeah. And their feelings.
Exactly.
Right? And their feelings, yeah. And so we do employ CBT. Thank you for bringing that up. That's a big part of our treatment as well. Let's take a look at how your behavior is affecting everything around you and your thinking, and let's try to get you to do something different so that you think a different way and you feel a different way. And that's really important stuff, Something else that, speaking of activity, we recently partnered up with a Bikram yoga studio in Santa Clarita. It's in fact called Santa Clarita Bikram Yoga. Ravinder over there is awesome. And we took our clients, and we've been doing that as well, taking our clients over to do yoga. And, it's tough stuff.
Yes, it is.
Wow, it doesn't look that hard from outside of the studio. But you get in there and do it, right? And we don't know what to expect. And so we go in there. I personally have never done yoga before, right? You get in there with all of our clients, and they're they don't know what to expect, and they're scared, but they show up and they do it. And it was so incredibly beneficial that as soon as we left there, everybody's like, God, that was hard, but let's do it again.
Yeah.
And so now that's a regular practice of ours, is we are taking them into this studio where they're getting the benefit of that physical activity and the movement of the body and just moving all that stuff around, body, mind, and spirit, right?
Well, and there's an instant payoff of, here's something that scares me. I don't know what to expect. I'm nervous about this, but I'm going to go do it anyway, and it feels good. There's a payoff in that. Right. Teaches them that everything they're afraid of isn't necessarily something to be afraid of.
And that's a neat experience for anybody. everybody is when you're scared to do something or you're just unsure and you do it anyway and you go, oh my God, I was missing out. Like, I really need to do this again, right?
Yeah.
And so we've been employing that as well. Something else, another partner of ours is over at Remo Drums. They have, and God, I love Remo Drums, totally by accident, of course, right? Totally by accident, I got invited to some community event that they were putting on, and I came over and they introduced me to a thing called Health Rhythms, which is evidence-based practice that uses rhythm to heal the brain, to regulate emotion, and to get physical exercise all in the same time. And so, of course, I fell in love with it. I'm like, where do I sign up? And I've been employing that for a number of years now personally, but we're able to employ that Health Rhythms protocol in our treatment center as well. And more than anything, I think that using drums in a treatment modality is really about communication.
How do you mean?
So we get these broken families that have been in here so here's sort of a picture of what a family in addiction looks like. It's either really super loud and everybody's throwing things and screaming at each other, or it's dead silent, right?
Yes.
Because we were in the aftermath of what happened yesterday or something like that. That's not a comprehensive picture, but it's, certainly states to it. They don't know how to talk to each other. Everybody's scared to say the wrong thing. Everybody's on eggshells. It's difficult. And so their communication is just broken. And they come in, and I will set a mother and a son in front of each other with a drum and get one of them going. Just get one of them going and get the other one to join. And pretty soon they're talking to each other through rhythm, and we can build upon that. If you guys can do this, then you can listen to each other.
Helps get them on the same page.
Gets them on the same page. And it taps into our biochemical rhythms that are naturally inside of us as well, right? Mm-hmm. So, and then the biggest thing that I think, well, I don't know about the biggest thing, but a really important thing that I mentioned before is the family component in our treatment.
It's important.
Anybody it doesn't even necessarily have to be blood family, anybody who they consider family. And the idea of what a family looks like, whether, whatever that is, I think it's beautiful that as a society, we have started to take a different look at what family looks like now. It's not just the traditional, mom, dad, and the two kids anymore, right?
Right.
And so whatever family means to you.
Right. And it expands the idea of who our client is.
Yeah, right. The identified patient is the entire support system.
Right.
Not just the person who has the drug problem, right?
Right.
Because everybody is suffering, and so we want to help everybody heal. And in that, with the families, there's a lot of work to be done, especially with. I want to talk about. Certainly this is not exclusive, but I want to talk about our primary population, not just our primary population, but across the United States. I think if you go to just about any treatment center, unless they're specialized, like they just treat women or they just treat men or they just treat elderly or they just treat kids or whatever. If you go to a general population treatment center, no matter where you go in the United States, I think it would be safe to say that at least half of the population, if not more, is going to be what's called transitional age youth. So that population, which is the highest risk population, between the ages of about 17 and about 30, usually a little younger than 30. Most of our people are 18, 19, 20, 24, 22, right in there, and so I want to talk a little bit about that age group right there. Not that we are specifically targeting our treatment to that age group, but why this kind of a modality benefits them so well. Why so many of that population are actually healing, even though it's the toughest population to treat, I think. We feel invincible when we're 22.
Sure.
So there was an article that came out recently. The state health department in California and in Los Angeles County specifically had come out with a report that said fentanyl overdose deaths between 2016 to 2017 tripled. In those overdose deaths, the primary victim of those overdoses is going to be in the age group that I'm talking about. They are absolutely the most at-risk age group that there is, and there's a multitude of reasons for that. And so I want to kind of talk about that population and the specific way that we treat that population. What do you think, Brenda, some unique stressors to transitional age youth are?
Unique stressors, I think a lot of it, let me take a half step back. We have children. Our children are, our job is to keep them safe, to help them make decisions, to help them figure out how to be an adult. And by the time they're 17, 18, if we as parents haven't learned to back off and allow them to do that, it's confusing. They've just come out of high school where they live in a fish bubble. They've known the same people for a long time. It's this very small microcosm of society. The Ericksonian perspective of the life cycle is between
when you say that, sorry, when you say you're talking about Erik Erikson.
I am talking about Erik Erikson, and he talks
Read
about
the book.
how between 12 and 18, the idea is I'm trying to figure out who I am as a human being.
Between 12 and 18.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny because I talk about that when parents come in and they go, man, they listen to this music and they wear these clothes and they do their hair like this. And I go, that's their job.
Yeah. I am not my parents anymore. I have to
Right.
make sure that I've got a proper separation between me and my parents. And if my parents are having a hard time allowing me to separate, I have to work harder at it. I have to become more rebellious to do that. So it's hard for a parent to be able to find that balance where they're able to set a boundary and let their kids do something that looks scary. You know, and as that
going.
adolescent, if I can't figure out who I am supposed to be, then I'm confused about what my role is in society. So I come to treatment because I'm spending time with people who are doing the kind of things that I'm doing, who behave in the way that I like, and I don't know where I fit anymore.
Right. Well, you know, it's funny that 12 to 18, we treat adolescents as well, and certainly by the time they get to us, the families are in crisis.
Yeah.
You know, and it's hard to, because we don't ever want to, you know. If you've made some mistakes as a parent, you know, welcome aboard. That's part of parenting.
That's your job.
You know, but a lot of these parents come in and their kids are using drugs or struggling or doing whatever's going on. And the parents will sit there and go, oh, my God, I've really screwed up. And we don't ever want to go back and say, you know, when the kid was 6, you should have been doing this or something like that.
No, it's never
right?
about that, right.
Like it's, you know, we want to take shame and throw it out the window.
Sure.
You
We do
know?
the best we can as parents.
That's right. And so they come in and they're in crisis, and we start talking about these things, and we start to help the parents try to teach their kids at this age, you know, where they're supposed to be in that sort of appropriate development, you know, sometimes it's hard for a parent to understand that if your 14-year-old comes home with a purple mohawk, that's kind of what they're supposed to be doing at 14. You know, that might seem a little radical to people, but it's like they're supposed to be testing the waters.
Yeah, they're figuring out who they are.
They're supposed to be pushing the boundaries. They're supposed to be checking stuff out, you know, and when that gets out of control is when, you know, you got absentee parents or you have parents that are so, like you talked about, so helicopter overwhelming in their business that they don't have the ability to separate.
Right.
And so what happens, you know, there is certainly a distinct population. There's a lot of people that use drugs that do not cross a line into addiction. And then there's a population, and I don't know exactly what the percentage is, but there's this population that when they do drugs, it affects, or drink, whatever, it affects them differently, and they have this addictive thing inside of them, and they react different, whatever. And if I'm that overwhelming parent, and I'm all up in their business, and don't let them have any kind of separation, which is contrary to, you know, my belief is I got to be all up in their business or you get really out of control. What happens with the behavior oftentimes is that it continues, but now in secrecy.
Right. And I don't realize as a parent that I have the potential to add more stress by being overly concerned and trying too hard to fix them instead of dealing with my own needs.
Right. And so what happens is that child grows up and now they're young adults, and it's time for launching. You know, a lot of kids are off to college, they're off to their first careers, they're off to their first independent living situation or whatever that looks like. And in today's world, I haven't looked at the numbers, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say that I think that there are more 24-year-olds living at home today than there ever has been in history.
In 2017, if I'm remembering the statistic, it is somewhere between 30 and 40% of kids between the ages of 18 and 35 that are still living at home with their parents.
And that's not to say that is not, there's no judgment of whether that's right or wrong or anything like that. It just is what it is.
Yeah.
But it certainly is different than it was 20 years ago.
That's right.
And so when we get that population in the treatment center, part of what we are looking at is trying to teach, you know, we have parents that are coming in with their 22, 23, 24-year-olds, and when you watch the dynamic, it seems like they have a 12 or 13-year-old living at home.
Everyone conspires to keep that human being as a 12-year-old without realizing that they're doing it.
And so part of the work that we do with family members in that population is to get them to set some healthy boundaries for themselves, the same boundaries they would set in any relationship. You know, things that are okay with me and things that are not okay with me, you know. And when they start to do that, what happens is we can help guide those transitional age youth into that independent living, into independence, and try to get them to start doing the things that's going to make them feel good about themselves so that they can grow and prosper and keep going, right?
Well, because unfortunately, in those early 20s, if I have been helped too much, and I say too much, again, this isn't shame-based, but if my parents have helped me more than is healthy for me without anyone knowing that, I learned that I'm helpless. And I'm afraid to step out. I don't know how to step out on my own, and I'm angry about it. And so that transition is frightening for everyone.
Right. Yeah, whether they're healthy or not, the transition is it's a very stressful time in our life, right? Even in the best of situations. So here's a scenario that happens, whether there's drugs involved or otherwise, is you'll have pretty high achievers oftentimes in a high school situation. Top in their sports, academically they're doing very well. You know, they go around the campus on a high school where, you know, what do you got, 2,000 or 3,000 people at maybe, and everybody knows who they are. They're like, oh, there's that star athlete. There's, you know, Mr. or Mrs. A+ over there, and they're like, you know, really cool. And they do well, and then all of a sudden they get their plans for college, and they go into these universities or these other colleges, and it's like, whoa, like now I'm in this huge pond of other top achievers and other smarty pantses and other people, and and it does something for a person, right?
It does.
And so that's part of the stress, is being able to help somebody in that kind of transition as well. We're looking at, you know, first jobs and first careers and first relationships. Am I leaving anything? So what's in Eric Erickson's perspective, what's the job of a 22-year-old?
That is about developing intimate relationships, being able to have healthy, open communication with another person, so I'm not isolating myself and becoming reclusive.
So it's about forming true partnerships with others.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm not just playing with them on the playground. I'm sitting down and having meaningful conversations.
Right.
Right. That's where the great brilliance in some of the human achievements come out of that age group, sitting down at the coffee table, going, what do you think of this?
Yeah.
Right?
What's important to you? Here's how I think about that. What can we do about this area here?
Yeah, and being able to learn how to disagree with people without beating the heck out of each other and things like that, right? Like that, all that takes place.
All
like
of that.
Appropriate arguments, appropriate disagreements or agreements, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And being able to be an individual within the context of another individual. How can we compromise? How can we communicate in a way that doesn't hurt anyone? How can we be assertive rather than passive or passive-aggressive or aggressive? And if I don't know how to do that, I'm stuck.
Right. And if I get stuck in any of these, you know, we touched a little bit on developmental phases, right? But if I get stuck in any of these developmental phases, a lot of times what we see is this age group, you know, whatever, the 25-year-old who's been stuck in a developmental stage way back at 6 years old, 8 years old,
Exactly.
12 years old, whatever.
Exactly.
So we're trying to unravel all that stuff as well.
Right.
So when we come back, we're just going to put a bow on all this. Can I use your finger to tie that bow?
I'll put it right
cool,
there.
Very cool. We're going to put a bow on all this and just kind of go over what we're talking about. You know, one of the things that I love about you and I being on the same team is that we could sit in this studio all day long and just, because we're both kind of fascinated by human beings and we're kind of nerdy in that way. And so
a little extroverted.
And I'm like, yeah, let's talk about how odd people know, how interesting. Did I say odd?
You didn't say odd.
How
Odd.
interesting.
AWED.
That's right.
Odd.
How interesting we are as human beings and how fascinating this is. And the ability to really just say a couple of key things to people and help them to have some really interesting changes in perspective. And help them, have a better life. And that's what it's all about for us,
It's
right?
about growth. Yeah.
Yeah, it's about helping those individuals and those families. So we are the Way Out Recovery. This is the Way Out Recovery Hour. And we will be right back after this message.
Do you like to rock across Africa?
Then the wait is over.
Africa Rocks! Africa's Greatest Hits is now available at the San Diego Zoo. And who could forget 99 red baboons?
Or the African-crested porcupine smash hit, I Got Quills to Pay the Bills. Hey, don't get too close.
And the hits keep on coming.
Africa Rocks has all your favorites from 6 different African habitats.
Hungry like a leopard.
Ibex is back.
Harder, better, Fossa stronger.
And a new track from Kendrick Lamar.
Now, Larry.
Yes, Chuck?
A collection of this magnitude, I'd fly to Africa.
Well, don't pack your bags, friend. Africa Rocks is only available right here at the San Diego Zoo.
Wow, that really does rock.
No, it Africa Rocks.
Welcome to Africa Rocks. Experience 6 different African habitats, including our first ever aquatic enclosure with African penguins. Only at the San Diego Zoo.
Why do people from all over Santa Clarita come to our spa in Canyon Country? Simple. They want the highest quality services at prices that everyone can afford. This is Rosemary from Beyond Harmony Med Spa. Read our reviews and know why we won the Ultimate Beauty Awards 2 years in a row by the readers of Elite Magazine. Come and see how close we really are and experience the level of excellence that our clients have loved for the past 13 years. Go to beyondharmony.com or call 298-8008 today for a free consultation.
And now, a cooking tip from Keith Mowry from Bob's Country Meats. Ribs were made for the barbecue, but here's a great cooking tip.
The best way I like to cook the ribs is in the oven, cover them about an hour, 350, then put them on the barbecue for about 15 to 20 minutes, turn them a few times just to get them nice and brown.
Ribs, chicken, tri-tip, pork chops, turkey, steaks, even exotic game like buffalo and ostrich. For the tastiest ribs in town, visit Bob's Country Meats on Soledad in Canyon Country.
Santa Clarita's hometown station.
Now FM 98.1 FM and AM 1220. Your hometown station.
We fall so hard, now we gotta get back what we lost.
Welcome back to the Way Out Recovery Hour. We're just having a ball in the studio, Brenda and I. It is so cool to sit in here with you, Brenda, and just kind of go over,
Who'd have thought, right? 20 years ago, who'd have thought?
I know for our listeners, I hope that all of this has been understandable. We get in here and try to make it as simplified as possible so that anybody can understand. But really what we want to do is we want to just offer ourselves as like an open arms, welcoming individuals and treatment center so that people can call us and get the help that they need,
Yeah.
I hope that we have conveyed, our caring and our love for this community and the people that are in recovery and the families and the stuff that we just want to continue doing over and over again. So how do we put a bow on this, Brenda? What do we say about transitional? What do we say about transitional age youth and other populations?
Well,
and
I
treatment center?
think that asking for help is probably a good place to start.
Yeah. So if you're sitting out there and you're listening to this, in that age group especially, I mentioned before, I know that despite all the trouble that I was in at 19, I felt invincible. I thought I had the world by the tail. And I think it is difficult for everybody to ask for help, but certainly that age group, it is probably even more so.
That's interesting, Bob, because at 19, I didn't feel invincible. I didn't care whether I lived or died.
Right. And so maybe you're sitting out there in that spot right there. And perhaps a conversation with us could help you to decide whether or not you want to live or die.
Yeah.
To help you make that choice to live, because, sometimes it can feel like there's nothing to live for. And we don't see that perhaps very shortly in our future, when we recover, we have the ability to pass that on to other people.
Right.
And as both of our mentor and wonderful man, Dr. James Lynn Crossan, I would say all the letters after his name, except it would take all day. Dr. James Lynn Crossan, rest in peace, who was both of our professor at the greatest addiction studies program in the world at Pierce College, would say that if we do this stuff, our lives take on meaning, purpose, and value.
Yeah.
And we can't see that value if we're sitting there in the middle of drug use, in the middle of, where I don't know. So if you have questions, I think that asking for help certainly is the first step. Again, we are the Way Out Recovery SCV. Our website is thewayoutrrecoveryscv.com. Please check it out. You can get you can schedule a confidential assessment on our website. You can ask any questions you want through that website. You can email me personally at bob@thewayoutrrecoveryscv.com. You can email Brenda at thewayoutrrecoveryscv.com. That was a lot of ats.
That is, yeah.
Let's do it again. Brenda
Ready?
at thewayoutrrecoveryscv.com. You can always call us at 296-4444. Easy to remember, 296-4444. Or drop on by. We are on the corner of Plum and Bouquet Canyons. Our physical address is 28118 Bouquet Canyon in the beautiful city of Santa Clarita. So drop on by and say hi. Brenda, I love you.
Bob, I love you. Thank you.
And thank you for all the wonderful work that you're doing in our community, and let's keep on trucking.
Sounds good.
This is the Way Out Recovery Hour. Thank you very much. We'll see y'all next month.